All I got is time. So
there we go. It says live on YouTube. I figured it out, O'Brien. I didn't totally screw it up. How about that?
Nice work.
What a concept. Hey, it's the Weekenders. It's Matt McCarthy and Mike O'Brien. Joe Murray's joining shortly. Joe Murray is late.
All I got is time. So,
there we go. It says live on YouTube. How about that? And it's actually playing behind me, so that's a bad thing too. How about that? These
apparently we're 10 second delay. That's what I was able to.
Yeah, these technical things they work perfectly. OB.
Yeah, no, hey, we got there. I'm good. We're a little freaked out about the snow yesterday, but we've recovered nicely here today. I haven't been outside. I'm assuming it's nice.
Yeah,
outside today.
I just went outside. I just got back from my first round of golf in 2020. Actually, no, that's a lie. I played a round in January on a nice weekend in January. But other than that, this is my first round post-COVID, post-coronavirus,
post and Corona.
I guess it's not post. It's very much as it's going on. So yeah, I just played my first round. Just got back from Souther's Marsh in Plymouth on the Plymouth Carver line. So yes, I'm very excited about that. So I'm sure we can talk about that and the experiences that we have. Again, Joe Murray is going to be joining us. You can tweet at me at Matt McCarthy 98.5. You can tweet at Mike at what? O'Brien on the mic.
O'Brien on the mic. MIC like a microphone.
Wow, very, very creative.
I know, right? It's a homonym. Is that a homonym? Yeah.
Don't ask me, OB.
Yeah. Not those literary terms that I learned back in like whatever elementary school grade. I don't remember anymore.
Yeah, like give me a break with that. Like we do radio for a reason.
I'm not here to do English except to talk words.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, how you doing, bud?
I'm good. It's like everyone else, trying to stay safe, stay sane. Been able to keep myself pretty busy here during this quarantine, and just waiting for it to all just be in the rearview mirror. And like is it May 18th now or May 14th? When's the next date here in Massachusetts? May 18th.
May 18th. Yes.
Just, May 18th. I that cannot get here soon enough. But
I'm starting to think like New York just put their restrictions in place through June 6th. Like we're gonna push ours back, right? I mean,
yeah.
Doesn't it seem like it? Like once New York did that, we're gonna follow the rest of the East Coast? Aren't all these states working together?
You like to think so. I know my family's down in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia area, and they seem to be kind of getting back to normal down there. So, just day like today when it's Mother's Day, I'm like, oh, it'd be great to be able to sneak down or visit the family. So I'm hoping that they will reopen down there. So at least maybe I can get down there. It's been a little belated Mother's Day time with moms, but I don't know. It seems that despite the lower population, I guess, that Massachusetts somehow is in the top 5 in cases and deaths and all that. So I don't think our time out of quarantine is going to happen anytime soon, unfortunately.
It's just crazy. Like you have to think about these things. It's like, can I even travel across state lines at this point? Like, it's just
what's legal?
The amount of mental energy I'm having to devote to literally everything in my life. Like I went and got gas the other day at some shitty gas station in Worcester that, I was like, wow, cheapo gas. That's great. Like, it's fantastic. It's way cheaper than anything else. I found out why it was cheapo gas, because none of the pumps worked. You couldn't get the card reader to work. But then the attendant comes out and is like, oh, like you have to do it like this. It's tricky. I'm like, dude, stay away from me. Like,
you're not distancing.
I literally brought out my wallet and I was like, I have cash, just take my cash. Like, no. And he took my card. I was literally about to just hand over my wallet and be like, just take my wallet, just stay 6 feet away from me. And he had a mask on, he had gloves on, but right. I'm like, how many people have gone to this gas station today that can't get this thing to work like me because it won't take the card, it won't do anything like that? Like, come on.
When's the last time you opened up your wallet and just said, take my money, take this cash?
Just take my money. Probably the last time Bruce Springsteen went on tour or something, just like, here, just take my money, like whatever. But no, like I was like, I couldn't believe, and I was like freaking out after getting gas because this guy just like approached me, and I was like, stay away from me. I acted like somebody who was about to get mugged, and all he was trying to do is help me figure out the stupid machine from like 1950 that just wasn't working. And it's like, oh yeah, no, you need to kind of like put it in and like take it out quickly, but not that quickly, but not that slowly. It was one of those finicky machines. We've all encountered those. Then
you're like, be cool, man. Just here, take the money. Just stay calm, stay back.
That's
and
right.
I'll just get out of here, and everything will be cool. We'll be fine.
It's fantastic. I believe we're going to be getting Joe Murray joining us here shortly.
We have a Joe.
We have just the giant.
We have a giant Joe text
on
right
the
now.
screen.
He's coming.
Let's see. Fingers crossed. We'll see if this works. Joe Murray potentially, maybe.
This may not be a joke. I may see more of. I obviously have seen my wife the most during quarantine. I may have seen Joe Murray the second most of anyone else, because he's doing all the Facebook stuff. He's on the Weekenders too. Like, I've seen just a lot of Joe Murray. Probably, yeah, I'd say the second most.
Yeah. Joe's doing an awesome Facebook podcast every day. Just sitting here, which is great.
Yeah.
Now I don't know if
there he is. There he is, just sitting there.
He is just sitting there.
He hasn't turned on the audio yet. Yep.
1 minute. Hold, please.
Please hold.
Joe,
can you hear me now? I'm a little insulted he doesn't have the full podcast setup.
Yeah,
for this.
Me too. I stepped up my game this week.
Yeah, I set up the mic here. All right. Anyway,
see you later.
Should we go to your golf game? Are you someone who's been chomping at the bit? Like, this quarantine needs to end so I can play golf.
Yes. Well, and put it this way, like I love golf, but I was also like team shut it down, like team whatever, like, listen, let's keep everybody safe. Like, so I've been kind of towing the line here, and like, but my approach was you can do golf safely. Like, anything you can do safely, you should be able to do. I think we have Joe Murray here. Hi, Joe.
Hey, guys.
What's up?
Switch the phone from the laptop was giving you issues.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on there, but check out this shirt. Can you guys see it?
Yeah, what
do you got there?
You don't know who this is?
No.
Who's that?
You don't see the earring for an ear?
I do. I'm not familiar.
Suge Knight.
that's
I can see it.
That's the t-shirt. You're like, I got to get this one.
That's pretty much what happened.
Is he back? He's back in jail though, right? Or is he out?
I think he's still in jail. Yeah.
Okay.
How we doing?
We're good. You?
Were you guys talking about golf?
Yeah, I just got back.
This guy went
end of the year.
So I'm in Hyde Park, Massachusetts. It's Mother's Day, so happy Mother's Day to all the moms.
There you go.
And I am at my mom's house, and to the right of me, I can see the beautiful George Wright golf course on the hill right here.
Best.
And I don't know how, but did fathers somehow get out of Mother's Day?
It's first weekend of the year, Joe. Like, Mom, this is on hold. Every day for the last month and a half, we could argue, has been Mother's Day, right? But moms, you got to wait today. I got out early. I wanted to make sure. I went out with a couple friends. It's Mother's Day. Let's go out early. People have things to do this afternoon, be it Zoom or in person, whatever. So no, we made sure to get out early this morning. A little windy, a little brisk, but otherwise it was beautiful. So good to be out there.
How the game carry over from 2019?
You know what? Not bad. Like, I'll take it. It's one of those things, you go out there first day of the year and you're like, this is gonna suck. I had a couple decent shots, and I feel like, it was an inconsistent round, but I played well in stretches, so that's the most important thing. This is my new quarantine goal. I'm going to play like 2-3 times a week. I'm going to get actually okay at golf this summer. That is my goal for the year. What the hell else am I going to do except go out after I'm done, doing my work every afternoon and maybe play 9? Like, that's what I'm going to do. It's what I'm going to do to stay sane. Thank God golf is back. Thank you. Thank you, Governor Baker. Thank you, state officials. I'm glad we weren't the last state in the union to open up golf courses. We can do it safely. People need to get outside where they can still be away from people. We need to make sure that we keep crowded places not so crowded. The golf course is the perfect place to do it. We need golf. Golf, golf.
I have a beef.
You have a beef?
I have a beef. Yes. I got into a beef with Tucker Silva this week. He was advocating golf. Why can't we golf? The governor said so. And you can do other things. There are other things. You can walk, you can do push-ups. You can play Wii golf. You can play golf online. But all these people that were like, outraged about why can't we play golf? Like, dude, you're like a protester. You know, the governor says don't do it, don't fucking do it. You know, oh, excuse me, don't do it.
Why can't I play? Why can't I play? Like, I'm not a great golfer, but like it just being bad at something for 4 or 5 hours in a row just doesn't appeal to me. Like,
I do that on the radio every weekend.
Like I can play, but I know I can play tennis, and that is literally a sport that's separated by a net. Like you have to stand on opposite sides of each other, more than 6 feet apart. Why can't I go down to the court and play tennis? Not
you
that I'm
should
going
tell
to,
you
but
you couldn't. Did the government?
Yeah, because parks are closed. Like there's like caution tape in front of the.
There you go. You're gonna have to go play ping pong indoors.
See, Joe, I actually do agree with you on that. Like, I've got a real problem with the people protesting this stuff. Like nobody's benefiting from this. All right. And the reason why we do have these restrictions in place are to keep people safe and to keep the vulnerable people in our population, in our state, as safe as we possibly can keep them. Like, I think we all know people in our lives who would be considered more at risk. You know, I mean, you know, our parents or, you know, people with pre-existing conditions or stuff like that. Like, I think we all know those people. And I have a real problem with people like protesting these things. And I agree. And don't get me wrong, I wanted golf back, but I wasn't out there like, you know, on the state house steps demanding that the governor, you know, reopen golf across the state. I just think it's something we can do safely. And it's a good opportunity for people to get outside and, you know, stay away. Like, I get that. That's fine. And listen, if it took a little while for the state to figure out that we can do this, sure, that's fine. But yeah, I do agree with you with the protest angle. Like these people, I've got a real problem with that. I do.
Golf, gun stores, and liquor stores. Those are all essential.
All essential. All essential, baby.
So I know I came a little bit late, but the big story this week was no activities in Boston through Labor Day. And I'm upset.
You mean Memorial Day, right?
No, Labor Day.
Like actual Labor Day?
Like big activities.
Like September Labor Day?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Like no 4th of July.
I missed that big news. Tell me more.
That's it. No festivals, no big crowds gathering.
Okay, I got you. Okay, got you. No events. I got it.
No fans at Fenway Park, Matt.
I get it. I understand. Like, you know, and listen, I've been consistent on this the whole time. Like, I totally get it. The last thing we need is to put 35,000 people in an arena somewhere. I mean, let's be totally honest. That would just be reckless at this time. I understand why they're doing this. They're trying to keep everybody safe. I think there's almost no way the marathon gets run in the fall. Like, it's just, listen, this is our new normal for a while. It sucks, but it is.
If the NFL can start up in September, I think the marathon could be run. I think the NFL is going to be the first thing that if and when it can go, everything else can go.
Not here, not California, not other places.
No 4th of July flyover for you, Matt.
No 4th of July, no Boston Pops, no 1812 overture.
No 1812 overture.
It sucks, my man. Don't get me wrong. It sucks. You know.
Ever hear this story, Mike?
No.
Matt is a big fan of the 1918 overture.
The 1812.
Oh, it's great.
1812, sorry.
Yes.
1812, yeah. What the William, is that the William Tell overture?
No. It's the 1812 overture. It's Tchaikovsky. It's what they play. You know, and of course, it. You know.
Okay, yeah. Sorry,
yeah, sort of.
That's my poor impression.
Yeah, close enough, and they fire off the cannons and everything. So I had an issue one year. I was on with Joe Murray the day after the 4th of July, and a thunderstorm came across and forced everybody to leave the Esplanade and ended the concert early. They knew the storm was coming all night long, and yet they did not play the 1812 overture because they had to trot the Beach Boys out there to play their 2 songs or whatever. They did this whole like 3-hour
production
production
on the Beach Boys, but okay, I got you.
And they didn't get to the main part, and it's because they just didn't look at the weather forecast, and I had a big issue with that.
I'm sorry.
There was a
Go ahead. No, you go.
You go.
No, I have a question, but you go next.
Okay. Well, at least they don't have to get the family coming into the town for 4th of July this weekend, because that was always, you know, a big thing around July 4th. But one more thing that's not happening, wrestling fans, dude.
Yeah.
We lose WrestleMania in Tampa Bay. Then Tom Brady signs in Tampa Bay. And now we lose. We're probably going to lose WWE SummerSlam that was going to be 4 nights in August.
Not great. Was it supposed to be in Boston?
4 nights, dude. October. So it was supposed to be a big event. Like Thursday night was something. Friday was the Hall of Fame. Like Saturday, and then Sunday night, and then Monday again. Monday Night Raw. And like, dude, we had plans like a year out for this.
Oh,
and, it's all over.
Yep.
How is Florida being like the benefactor of all this? Like Florida has been the worst at being a state for decades
Forever.
now, and now and there's no karma whatsoever. Here's all the good things.
Well,
Congrats.
That brings up a good point, guys. Like I wanted to actually bring this up today. So UFC had an event last night, UFC 249. It was on ESPN, and then the major card was on ESPN Plus. And I have to admit, I watched the whole entire thing. I thought it was awesome. There was no crowd noise. You could actually hear the fighting. You could hear the guys in the corner. You could hear the hits. And I thought the event was tremendous. Like I actually, and listen, I was giving UFC shit for doing this. I was one of those guys. Dude, somebody tested positive for COVID-19 the night before.
Yeah.
And they still
did it?
They still did the event, and it went off amazing. The ratings were through the roof. It was an awesome event. Someone got sick. The show went on. The Florida health commission let it go. It worked. So I'm asking you guys this. Is this the blueprint for possibly getting sports back in the United States?
Definitely. It's absolutely the blueprint. No fans, nothing like that. This is how sports will return. And I don't really see any other way. And, when we talk about the NFL having fans in the fall, I mean, sure, Florida will let them have fans. Absolutely. But California is not. Like, there are going to be states where fans are not going to be allowed. And do you think New York, after all they've, gone through with coronavirus, do you think Cuomo and Murphy and the leaders in those areas are going to allow 80,000 fans to pour into MetLife Stadium a week after Labor Day? Like, that's not going to happen. It's just not.
Maybe Buffalo. The only place to allow it.
Hey, listen, the only New York team, the Buffalo Bills.
True.
But I mean, guys, like somebody tested positive. They sent them home.
Yeah.
The show went on. No one got sick.
But they don't know yet. I mean, how do they know that no one else got infected amongst the staff or fighters?
We don't know after, but I know that the night of, nobody was sick.
I think that's what you need to wait for. Like, if everyone comes out of that unscathed and clean, then this is absolutely the template, the blueprint.
Did you have a chance to see the Kevin Love story? He said he shot a basketball for the first time in months, drove in, and everybody was wearing masks and gloves. And every time he shot the ball, they washed the ball off after. And
that's crazy.
Like, guys, I don't know, man. I want sports to come back. I don't think the NBA is going to be able to figure this out.
I'm going to start a side gig. I'm going to get hired as a side gig as NBA ball washer.
Hey.
Whatever that implies.
There are plenty of people out there who do that, just not in the sense that you're talking about.
Yeah.
That's my new side gig. What do you do? I wipe the ball down after every shot. Here you go, Mr. Irving, Mr. Smart.
Whoever. I mean, is that really what's going to be the issue with the NBA? I mean, when you think about it, like I don't know. I mean, wouldn't baseball have the same issue in some ways? Not as much as the NBA, but I mean, the pitcher throws the ball. Eventually the fielders throw the ball. Like, doesn't baseball have the same issue?
Like, maybe there'll be a no spitting rule.
Well, I mean, that's exactly. I mean, those are the types of things that baseball will have to implement. But I mean, I guess the pitcher would be on the same team as the pitcher is going to be in the clubhouse with the fielders. Like, maybe baseball has it better, whereas in basketball, you're talking about different teams, stuff like that. There's very minimal contact between the batter, the runner, and other players. Somebody gets tagged every once in a while, but I mean, baseball might be able to make it work.
I don't know, any sport that's more than like a one-on-one situation, like the UFC or tennis, or even I guess golf when it's pairing or a grouping, teeing off together. I don't know how you get beyond navigating this when it's teams, when it's involving more than 3 players or 2, to whoever, 2 or 3. Like that seems to be my maximum in my mind. How do you get 25 players on a roster together and make sure that they're all safe?
I don't know.
Every game, every night.
I mean, I'll tell you what, golf is not going to have any problems. Golf is going to come back and they'll be fine. Yeah, I mean, that's the advantage golf has. I think for a long time, golf is going to be our only sport.
Oh.
So I think football's the one thing with football is this. Marty Walsh is the mayor of Boston. He's in control of what happens in Boston, and Governor Baker's in charge of what happens, throughout the state.
Mm-hmm.
So if this is lockdown's going to be until Labor Day, football starts a week after or 2 weeks after.
Yeah.
And the first game for the New England Patriots will be at home against the Dolphins. So will there be fans in the stands?
I don't think so. I'd be surprised. I'd be totally surprised at this point.
I don't know how you have fans in the stands before you get a real treatment or a real vaccine.
And that's the NBA's holdup. The NBA does not want to continue a new season next year without some sort of vaccine. And dude, 60% of the league is made off of TV rights. 40%'s off the fans. So this is future complications if they don't get some sort of plan in place.
And I just think, the support staff at the state. We've talked about this already, at the beginning of all this, the support staff at the stadiums, all the ushers, all the concessionaires, all that stuff. Yeah, you can play the game without the fans, but who else is suffering besides, I tell you, won't be suffering, the owners and the players, but everyone else involved with making the game happen, they're shit out of luck.
One last thing about the UFC event last night, they had their announcers there. So it was John Anik and Joe Rogan and Daniel Cormier. They were right at ringside. And then when Joe Rogan interviewed the players, he wasn't wearing a mask. And we're all in broadcasting, right?
Yep.
Are they gonna send the media mat to the Red Sox? Yeah, no, he was doing it normal. But are they gonna send the media to Fenway Park? Are they gonna be able to interview guys after games? To me, this might be JD Martinez's dream, right?
It's the players' dream. They'll be away from the media. They'll be away from us. I think, put it this way, UFC has obviously been very cavalier. They didn't want to shut down in the first place, so I think UFC is a little bit different. I think the major sports leagues will approach this a little bit more differently and responsibly. Obviously, even if they're not fans, there will be media there covering the game because these games will be broadcast on television. You think obviously that takes a lot of people to put together a television broadcast. When it comes to post-game interviews, you're probably talking about just straight up podium style and everybody sitting, 6 feet from each other. That's
Zoom?
It could be. Tell you what, wish I'd gotten stock in Zoom before all this happened.
Jeez. Zoom sucks, by the way. I tried to get on my laptop and it won't let me, and I don't know why. And it works everywhere else I've ever been. It works on my phone. It doesn't work on my laptop. Out.
Here's my question. When did Zoom become the choice for video conferencing? When did it just become the automatic thing? Wasn't it Skype for years? Wasn't it? It was totally Skype.
So they started making these Zoom rooms, dude. I don't know if a company you work at, but my previous company had Zoom rooms with videos everywhere, cameras everywhere and audio. And I had to do a presentation once for a job where the manager, I was in one room and my manager's in another room listening on a Zoom, and I'm it's amazing. You could dial in anywhere, but yeah. I don't know. I wonder if there's another option these days.
I've worked with Microsoft Teams a little bit.
Yeah. There you go.
That's the other one that seems to be out there.
I like Google Hangout a lot.
Oh, I haven't used that for video.
The one thing I will say about Zoom that's great is it doesn't let people talk over each other. How it lights up the box when someone's talking. Mm-hmm. Some of these other streams, that's one of the issues, is that you can hear people talking over each other.
Yeah, I will say the audio quality is pretty good. So I do podcast production for a living, my full-time job, whatever you want to call it, my real job. We've been able to do it over Zoom. It's amazing. It is. We've never been better prepared for this day and age than we are right now, which makes it ridiculous that some people just can't handle. It's like, can you imagine what this would have been like, say, even just 20 years ago?
Well, what did they do in the 1918 Spanish flu epidemic? There were no phones. There certainly wasn't Zoom. No one had a phone. Like, all right, how do you get the news out? Wait till tomorrow morning and we'll read the newspaper.
You wait until half your family is dead tomorrow morning and you realize that everybody has it. I mean, think about how far we've advanced. Like, it's crazy. So when I hear people being like, yeah, it sucks to be at home and this and that, I'm like, you've never been better prepared for it than we've never been better prepared for it in human history.
I know, we got the Amazon Prime, you got the Hulu, you got Netflix, you got Zoom. I mean,
it's enough to keep you entertained. Right?
The time is now for this quarantine. Beautiful.
I don't know. I could have played 25 seasons of franchise mode of some video game way back when.
I mean, you still can, Joe.
Yeah, we could just create ourselves. I'll put Mike O'Brien under center, Matt McCarthy at tight end. I'll be on the D line. Like,
there you go.
We'll just start creating people. Hey, real quick, I wanted to do some schedule talk. Is that cool?
Yeah,
sure. And it's got something to do with fans. So, hypothetically, Jared Stidham's going to be the starter for the Patriots this year. And if you look at the schedule, well, it's Miami. So they're going to play home, away, first four.
Yeah.
So it's Miami and then away at Seattle.
Oh.
Then back home, and then on the road at Kansas City. So is Seattle an issue if they don't have the 12th man?
That's a great question. I mean, Seattle certainly isn't as, I mean, just the road in general. I mean, think about, Kansas City too. That's a really loud place. Like, did the Patriots maybe catch a break? Let's just say there are no fans for the first half of the NFL season or whatever. Do they potentially catch a break with that? Seattle's been a hard hit area. Like, do you see them being potentially having people in the stands for a Seahawks game in early September? That's a good point, Joe. I hadn't thought about that. I'd more thought about, like, what happens if these games get postponed? I know the NFL has contingency plans for that. Like, what happens if you have to start the season in October instead of September? I hadn't thought about the fan aspect for those early season games. That's a good call, Joe.
Plus, Washington is where the murder hornets are. So
you want to stay away.
They're not going to let fans in for coronavirus or murder hornets. I mean, typically that East Coast to West Coast travel doesn't work out too well for the East Coast teams historically, regardless
or
of
the West Coast.
Yeah,
you got the Raiders. What, week 3?
Yeah, so that cross country travel doesn't work out. Regardless of fans. So, I mean, maybe it'll be easier for Jared Stidham because it's only his second game. He doesn't need to deal with Seattle, but I think the travel overall is more of a factor.
Does Arrowhead become difficult with no fans in Game 4? The defending Super Bowl champions. Arrowhead's one of the toughest places to play. Like, I think this is the best. If there are no fans, I think it's the best avenue for Jared Stidham as a starter.
But
sorry, go ahead, Obi.
I was going to say the most likely games to be postponed, and the reason they're doing the home and away for the first 4 weeks is so they can easily maybe shift those games to the end of the season if need be. So those are, you obviously have some tough games there in early going, but those could easily be the ones tacked on to the end of the season. I think if they're not playing with fans, I think just be like, yoink, and just take those and put them to the end, and then we're definitely going to be dealing with fans most probably.
Oof, that doesn't sound good then if they do that.
No.
And then they're going to be 2 weeks of Jimmy G talk after that, by the way.
Oh, they get the bye week?
Bye week and then 49ers.
Yep, there you go. You better believe Felger Maz have that bye week circled. Jimmy G.
They're gonna start on Monday.
Monday after
the Broncos. They're starting on the 12th.
Yeah.
The day after Broncos.
Yeah. Hey, you mentioned the murder hornets, man. Like, I don't know. Like, they scare me, but I've seen that bees can kill them and that praying mantis can kill them.
I thought the bees were getting hammered by the murder hornets.
Bees are getting decimated by those murder hornets because
they attack the hive and then go after the mother,
the
queen. But I don't know. I watched a praying mantis eat one to death the other day.
Okay, that's great, but like if I've got murder hornets attacking me, do I have a praying mantis at my disposal to defend myself?
Raid, lots of raid.
Carry one around on a leash. You can tie one to your bedpost, and it's going to protect you while you're sleeping.
Yeah.
Have you seen the video of the guy getting stung by the murder hornet?
No, I don't want to see it.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
He's like, the numbness in my arm.
Immediately excruciating pain, and his arm just goes. Sorry.
Yeah.
Does he die? Is he dead?
No.
Because they said like 50 people in Japan every year die from these things. Yeah.
So guys, I had a couple of notes that I figured I wrote these down just to see what you guys had for interest. Have you been watching any of the Korean baseball league?
Believe it or not, Joe, I actually haven't.
I'm out on this.
It's been a little late for me. I do plan on watching. Last week was a busy week for me, so I didn't really have an opportunity to check in. A lot of stuff going on at work. But this week, I do hope to check in on the Korean Baseball League. They say it's good baseball. They say it's like a step above AA, somewhere between AA and AAA. It's not a step above AA.
I watched Casey Kelly pitch last night. Remember him?
Yes.
He sucks.
Yeah. Why is it the Korean League?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm glad. It's actually fun to watch because it's baseball, right? But it's not the real deal, man.
What's the pace of play like? That's what I want to know.
Fast. Yeah,
good.
That's enjoyable.
So it's like they play these games in a reasonable, acceptable amount of time.
They don't work counts either. It's like they see a good pitch, they swing at it.
There you go.
It's beautiful.
They've got it figured out.
But they don't hit a lot of home runs though.
So are you talking like 3 hours here? Less than
3 hours. Yep.
Oh,
it's the way it should be. There's no excuse for baseball to be played in 3 hours. Like, I'm sorry, like it should be less than 3 hours. Like, think again, this is what I've always said about baseball. Like, we spend like 2 minutes, 25 seconds every half inning sitting on our asses doing nothing during the half inning break. And then we spend the actual half inning sitting on our asses doing nothing. If you actually cut that half inning break down to a minute, which is where it should be, that's 18 minutes right there, essentially, that you just gifted baseball. Now you're talking about an average length of game of like 245 instantly without implementing a pitch clock or doing anything. You cut that time, you reposition those commercials elsewhere during in between pitches, whatever. And then all of a sudden you're talking about a game that's 245 like that with no other changes. Call me up, Rob Manfred. I know what to do.
Commissioner Matt McCarthy.
I got it figured out. I'll tell you what.
Robot on.
Are you guys in the Jordan documentary? You gonna watch that tonight?
I just started it this morning. I binged like 2 episodes, so I'm a little late to the game. But
people say it's great.
I'm gonna try and catch up this afternoon.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. I mean, people say it's great.
Oh, guys,
I know.
Oh,
it's awesome. No, I'm with you. I'm on board now. It took like
the
I'm
last
delayed, but I'm there.
The last episode was about like Jordan's like gambling habits.
Oof, that's good.
And now they're gonna go to the baseball stuff.
Where did you play for the Barons?
The Birmingham Barons. You know who his coach was?
Gary Francona.
That's right.
That's right. Trivia. So you're on board. You're on board, eh? 10 episodes of Michael Jordan season.
Yeah.
Season.
I mean, don't get me wrong. If there wasn't a pandemic, I don't know if I want to watch 10 episodes, but but it's good. So this brings up something else. If you could watch a documentary about anyone, like sports, people in history, that hasn't been done yet, is there like a team or a person or an actor or someone in real life that hasn't been done yet that you'd watch a documentary on?
This is easy, Joe. It's the Brady Belichick Patriots. And I know that it just ended and everything, but that's exactly what I would want to watch. Like, I want, this 10 episode treatment breaking down everything about the Patriots dynasty. Like, I know we've gotten that in bits and pieces with like A Football Life and the Brady Six, stuff like that. But like, I can't wait for like 10 years from now, 15 years from now, when the Brady Belichick Patriots are getting this treatment, because they deserve it. They're one of the most fascinating, greatest teams in the history of sports. They're also great villains. They're detestable. They're slimy. They're sleazy, like all of those things. They're the most captivating team. I mean, again, I was a little young for Jordan. I mean, I remember like the tail end of Jordan's run and everything, with the Bulls. So like maybe, I wasn't truly at an age to appreciate it, but like the 2001 to 2019 Patriots are I would say one of the top 5 most fascinating and compelling teams in the history of sports. So I want that documentary.
Is there a Gretzky documentary? Really? I would love. Really. I'm being a hockey guy. I would love to, get behind the curtain on that guy. Outside of the short, short features that he's done in the past. Like let's go deep dive on Gretzky, please.
Yeah, like Esa Tikkanen on the side.
Like Mark Messier, like Paul Coffey was there too. Graham Fuhr, like everyone. Whoever's talking about hockey here in America, you think dynasties, you think Islanders 80 to 84, and I think there has been a documentary done on those guys, or at least an HBO special. But give me a deep dive on the Gretzky and those 80s Oilers, because they were unbelievable.
So the one that kind of pops in my head, it's sports related, but the Toronto Blue Jays of the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they get their due. Like
winning back-to-back World Series is no joke.
I can't talk about it. Sorry. Mitch Williams, Joe Carter,
but
93.
But you know what I'm saying? Think about it. Joe Carter hit a walk-off home run to win the World Series.
Yeah.
And is it ever really truly like, we don't see commercials on it? Like I just don't feel like it's as hyped. Not to mention, like, Cito Gaston was an interesting character. They had John Olerud. Like, that was just a very interesting team.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I feel like that's like something we don't get a lot. Like baseball in the 90s then too was maybe was it pre-steroid era? I don't even know.
I mean, baseball was still huge. Like, let's not forget that, like, baseball was still the biggest sport in the country at that point. And maybe it's because they're from Canada. Maybe, because it happened right before the strike. You feel like you go from, in baseball history, you think Game 7, 1991, which is on the short list for greatest game ever played in the history of baseball. And then, but I mean, you've got a great World Series in 93, but then you have the strike. And I feel like it goes, like, when in baseball's mind, it goes from like Game 7, 91, strike, Cal Ripken. Like it's almost like you just skip right over the back-to-back Blue Jays teams. Like, who does back-to-back? It doesn't happen.
It's weird that you probably know the team that lost the World Series more than the team that won the World Series.
Totally.
Joe Carter's home run, but otherwise it was Moncho Rowe with the Phillies, Darren Dalton, John Kruk, Lenny Dykstra, Kurt Schilling before he went off the deep end.
Yeah.
Like, everyone knows the Phillies, but no one knows the Blue Jays outside of Joe Carter.
Mike, you're completely right about that. People talk about that Phillies team more than the team that actually won the World Series
for the second year in a row. Yeah. Good call by you, Joe.
And like, I don't know, like, if there was like outside of that, like I don't know who I'd like want to see like a documentary on. Like, I'm trying to think of like impactful people, like in the world. It's weird. Somebody asked me this question recently. Who are like the 3 greatest athletes of all time? Mm-hmm. And my answer was, well, athletes is a different thing, but I feel like Babe Ruth, Muhammad Ali, and Michael Jordan are the 3 biggest athletes of all time.
Yeah.
But if we were going to add a 4th, who would it be? And I don't know why I landed on Tiger Woods.
The Tiger was my reaction there too. And, maybe it's recency bias or whatever it is, because we all lived through Tiger's dominance. But Tiger was so far and away greater than anybody else in the sport at his time. Like, we have never seen, I don't know if we've ever seen a player dominate his sport the way that Tiger dominated his sport for quite some time. Like, it's just, Tiger's on the short list. I mean, you talk about, Gretzky or somebody like that, but I mean, that's what we're talking about.
But here's why he'll never get it though, because even though he was so dominant, he had the fall. Yeah. But you make the argument that he never really had the comeback, right?
True.
never really have been the same since since things went south at the Perkins and everywhere else.
Yeah, the Perkins, and we're not talking about a golf course.
Exactly. So I think for a documentary like that, you need the happy ending, or the moment of hope, which never came after that.
Well, last year?
Well, right. Sorry, pun intended. Unintended.
Is there anywhere else that pops into that fourth though? Like, I don't know. Like, I was thinking about the Yukon women, but that's a different story for another day. Yeah. Was there another single athlete that was a Babe Ruth, Michael Jordan, Muhammad Ali type? And it probably is Tiger Woods, but is there anybody else?
See, I mean, Brady is on the short list, but I also still feel like Brady at least had contemporaries. He was better than everybody else. Like, he was better than but like, you can at least say that, like, well, Manning was just a step down from Brady, like he did have contemporaries. He's the greatest player in the history of the NFL. He's the greatest player in the history of football. Like, that's pretty undeniable. But I feel like Brady's competition was closer to him than Tiger's competition was to him. You know what I mean?
I was going to mention LeBron James. Like, LeBron, people don't want to hear it, but he's the greatest player in the NBA.
Yeah.
And he's probably the greatest small forward in the history of the game. So, like, has he had a fall? Was it him joining the Heat and then going back home? Like, is that a better story than Brady?
Right.
And I don't know.
Yeah. No, it's Joe. It's a fascinating, it's a fascinating question. It really is. Like, but I mean, Ali is undeniably the greatest. Like, it's you have to be on that level. But you're also talking about the people that you've mentioned have transcended their sport. It's like they're truly bigger than the sport. I mean, Babe Ruth is, like, probably, when you talk about the most mythical figure in the history of North American sports. Now, obviously, it's because it happened a long time ago. People don't really remember, like, and we're talking like, the teens, the 20s, and the 30s. So, like, there aren't really people left over. So he's become this mythical figure, but he always was, at least to us. Ali is like he is pretty close to that. And obviously he transcends boxing. He's a social figure. He's like all of those things. Michael Jordan, same thing. Like, it's just Jordan, brings basketball essentially to the rest of the world in many ways. Like, it's just, you're talking about people who had impacts just beyond the normal, like, wow, that guy was the greatest ever,
Like Rocky Balboa, Mike, right?
Yeah, the greatest fictional boxer of all time. I'm just trying to think who is, like, you're trying to classify who's that number 4. I'm just trying to think who is the best of all time in each sport. So you have Jordan, Ali, and who else did we just say? Sorry, Jordan, Ali, and Ruth. So if you're looking at hockey, is Gretzky, right? It's Gretzky.
Yeah.
But is he number 4 over the best? What sport are we missing right now? Basketball. Football. Is he the best over? Is he the best over Brady?
Yes.
Or is he better than the second best basketball player of all time?
Right.
So,
yes.
I think so. I mean, Gretzky his number is retired through all of hockey, and he has every offensive record ever in the game. So how is he not the number 4th? I mean, you can even make an argument he's top 3.
Yeah.
It's fun. We don't give. I think Wayne Gretzky is the most underrated athlete of all time. Maybe
he's Canadian. He played
in
Edmonton. In Edmonton.
No, I agree, but I think that's more of a, I hate to say it because I love hockey, but that's more, hockey is just a smaller sport compared to the sports that we're talking about, not boxing. Like,
let me ask you this: do you think Bobby Orr gets too much credit? Because like, I hear people talk about Bobby Orr more than Wayne Gretzky.
Well, that is because we are from Boston. But Bobby Orr also, you want to talk about somebody, he literally changed the position and changed the sport. Like, I mean, that's just, Bobby Orr, the greatest defenseman of all time. But what he did as a defenseman revolutionized hockey.
But also he doesn't have as many championships as he probably should to go with his individual record.
Yeah, they blew a couple of.
Yeah, those Bruins teams were wagons.
They blew a couple of games.
Yeah,
and I feel that way with Don Shula. Not to transition, but Don Shula is probably one of the best coaches, but he blew. I mean, he had Dan Marino and lost the Super Bowl. He had an undefeated season. He lost to Joe Namath, as huge favorites. Like, I'm not discrediting him because Belichick's had losses too, but like, I don't know. I look at some of these guys who are held in high fame, and sometimes we don't look at their losses. And to your point is, a lot of these guys don't have that fall. I don't think Wayne Gretzky ever had that fall.
No,
he didn't. He was a poster boy. Like he was. I mean, talk about Gordie Howe being Mr. Hockey. I think Wayne Gretzky was Mr. Hockey. What scandals? Like what bad thing has anyone ever said about Wayne Gretzky?
His wife loves to bet on the coin toss. That's it. That's all he has.
Yeah.
And now his daughter's on a Barstool Smoke show. So I mean, like, one thing on Don Shula, passed away, obviously, rest in peace. Do you think Bill Belichick will respect the record now that he's passed, or do you think he wants that record? And I'll go on record by saying he doesn't need the record to be the greatest of all time.
No, he doesn't. But I think Bill wants it. And I don't think it has anything to do with Don Shula, living or passing on or what. I think Bill wants the record. I think we also know that Bill and Don Shula maybe didn't have the greatest relationship. Don Shula was very critical of Bill, and Bill doesn't take too kindly to that. And Bill's statement was, it was what it was, as somebody would say, like he was like, his statement was, I grew up in Baltimore and Don Shula was the coach there, rest in peace. That's kind of what it was. But I would also say that I don't know if I'd put Don Shula in like the top 3 in the history of the NFL. Like, does that, more to your point, Joe, like, what does that record really mean? It's like, sure, if Belichick gets it, I mean, he's the winningest coach of all time, but would any of us say Don Shula is a top 3 coach in the history of the National Football League?
Vince Lombardi, Bill Belichick.
I'd take Lombardi over him. I'd take Bill Walsh. I'd take Belichick.
Bill Walsh.
Yeah. That's
You're probably talking more like the Chuck Noll. And I mean, that's like great. Don't get me wrong. Like, if we're talking about one of the 5-6 best coaches in the history of the NFL, like that's nothing to sneeze at. Like, I mean, Don Shula was a damn good coach, but I don't know if Bill needs the record.
Yeah, I think both of them have asterisks, to be honest. I mean, the way that Don Shula like combined all his victories for his coaching record, and if and when Bill gets there, they're going to put an asterisk next to that record because for exactly what Don Shula said, he cheated. And whether you agree with it or not, people outside of Boston are going to talk about that.
Yeah.
No, but like, would you rather have won and cheated and been justified, or just hung on long enough and win? Like, dude, he can't Dan Marino and he couldn't win.
I'm with you, Joe. I just think they both have asterisks. That's all. And plus,
I think Shula had the refs in his pocket too, though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
from 1982 here. Tell you that.
Hot take. Here we go. 28 years in the making. Go.
Yeah. Don Shula takes. Yeah, no, it's listen, it is what it is. But I also think, let's just make sure that Bill doesn't have, the same end of his career that Don Shula had, where people might say, well, he just hung on to get the record. Like, let's just make sure that the Patriots, are competitive and relevant for the next 4 or 5 years. And I mean, I certainly don't put that past Bill. I don't feel great about this upcoming season, but I don't think it's any guarantee that he passes Shula either. Like, I mean, that's, people are like, oh, what are the numbers? He needs like, how many behind Shula is he now? Is he like 45 or something like that? 50?
He's got 304, and I think it's 347 is Shula's record.
Okay. So but
43 wins. So
yeah.
Basically, you need 11 wins average over the next 4
years. Is that a guarantee? Yes.
And Bill we trust, then it is. Yeah.
I don't
know. I don't think so.
Hey guys, I was thinking about this. You know how there's like fathers in sports with sons, like the Mannings and I don't know, the Griffeys or whatever. Are there any mother son combos that you can think of,
or mother-daughter,
or mother-daughter.
Admittedly, I can't say that I know of any. I'm sure there are, particularly, maybe you've probably got some, good WNBA connections.
I got like, what was Goldie Hawn's daughter's name and Almost Famous?
Kate Hudson.
There you go.
Allen Iverson's mom was awesome when he was in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Yeah. Allen Iverson, according to his mom, he was the Immaculate Conception.
Oh,
somehow she got pregnant without having sex.
How about that?
And that brought us AI. Second coming of Jesus. Did you know?
Same thing happened in Star Wars too. I'm just saying, like it happened.
Should we throw Gordie Howe's mom in the mix? I don't know. Oh, Layla Ali? I don't know. That probably doesn't count.
That's father-daughter, right?
Yeah. I know. Whatever.
See,
I tried.
My favorite topic, Mother's Day, Father's Day, is the Johnson and Flynn, the celebrating the most prolific fathers in sports. That's always great.
Oh, like Earl.
Earl Thomas.
Earl Thomas this week.
Unbelievable, right? Like this is the story of the week, isn't it?
It is.
Fantastic.
When we get the fathers. Sorry.
How'd they get an Airbnb during a pandemic?
That was not my first question, Joe, but I guess we can put it on the list of questions. It's a fair question though. There are many fair questions when it comes to the Earl Thomas saga.
Real estate is still happening during the pandemic. That's what I've heard. I've been told.
So they say.
Do we have to wait till Father's Day to we talk about the best father of all time? Of course, talking about the Ball clan, Lamar Ball.
Yes.
I don't know. What about Antonio Cromartie?
Antonio Cromartie. Travis Henry.
Philip Rivers.
Yeah. He's. What separates Philip Rivers is that his 9 kids are all with the same woman, and when we're talking about Travis Henry and Antonio Cromartie, there are many different women and many different babies and many different baby mamas.
And happy Mother's Day to them all.
Happy Mother's Day to all of Antonio.
You're doing God's work.
Must be a hard day for him, man. He must be stressed out.
Dude, he needs a secretary to make sure all those mothers get their card.
Yeah. Hey, one last thing. Have you guys ever tried Instacart yet?
Instacart?
Instacart? Yeah, no. I just know that they get my way at the grocery store.
So I did one the other day, and everything was fine, but they ended up giving me an extra bag, and it came with a head of lettuce, a box of baby spinach, and avocados. Like, they're giving me extra spinach, lettuce.
I'm trying to tell you something. Instacart's like, I don't like that.
But like, do you know my stance on this?
On spinach and avocados? I can't say I do.
On salad, I'm out.
Yes.
We'll put it in an omelet. The spinach, saute it up, and put it in some eggs. Scramble.
Was it a sick joke?
Sorry. Okay. Just trying to help you make the best of a bad situation with your spinach and lettuce.
Oh well, I try it out if I was you guys.
Don't you have to like schedule like a week and a half to something to like?
Got mine in 2 days.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's about time for some groceries in the O'Brien household, so I'll give it a try.
There you go.
There you go.
All right, guys, it's been real.
It's been real good to catch up with everybody.
Great to see you guys. Hope to see you again soon.
Yeah.
I went to Kowloon today, by the way.
Oh, I gotta get there. How was it?
What'd you get?
The line was great. Everything was great. Now I'm about to go eat some Saugus wings.
Enjoy.
Oh, enjoy, sir.
Fellas, good to catch up with y'all.
Good to catch up.
Back at you, man.
See you later.